Fricker sitting at the 124.52, but like at this level, like it's just such like who makes mistakes. Like there's a lot less difference between those two numbers than it looks like. Like to get those 123 PBs, you just need to have like the run, and that's unlikely to happen in any given run. So should be a pretty close one.
Yeah, I think at this point, no, it's okay. I think at this point it's like you said, more about there's not very many races, even in the entire tournament. There's not too many races that are decided because one player has a great run. There are some, but far more races get decided because somebody has a not great run and the other person just does okay. And a lot of times, hey, I'm living proof of this in this tournament. Just okay is oftentimes good enough.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with these two runners, like, unless like Doom just has like a otherworldly run here, like the winner pulling in for 125 is not unexpected whatsoever. So
no, definitely not. These guys are both capable of very high level play, and since they are humans playing A Link to the Past, they're both capable of getting wrecked by the game because that's the way she goes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just honestly out of your hand. I mean, there's the blue balls, which is what everyone concentrates on, but I know in like the AD tournament we didn't have a single match that was actually determined by blue balls. It was a little bit more apparent there because it was right at the end. Like like even if you get bad luck, you need your opponent to get very good luck to be a significant difference, and then it has to be a very close race where it came down to like 10-20 seconds at the end. But there's like so much other RNG in this game too, just like there's a little stuff in Escape, which isn't that big of a deal, but I mean, Moldorm can do it to you. It's just it's just all over the place.
Yeah, I think the tournament was pretty similar to AD in that there were very, very few, if any, I'm not sure, for a long time, of races that were straight up decided by blue balls. However, the last two races, Fricker and Dow, where Fricker got 0 and Dow got 7 blue balls, and then me versus Eri, where I got 0 and Eri got 8 blue balls.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Hopefully we can kind of buck that trend with this race here, where it doesn't really matter how many blue balls you get as long as your opponent gets the same or a similar number. It's really all we're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, not to keep bringing up AD, but like when we were doing that tournament, we thought it was going to be like kind of just like the Wild West of like who's going to advance and who's not, just because there's so much like things that can blow up in that run. And like that tournament ran pretty close to chalk, honestly. Like it was, and I think part of it is just because there are so many things. Like, it's like if you mess up one thing, your opponent's probably gonna mess up something else and kind of come out in the wash a little bit. There was very few races where it was just someone was crushing it, and the couple ones that people were crushing it, their opponents were doing it too. So honestly, in this tournament, there's been a lot more, I think, what you call like upsets, just because it's the RNG in this game, just things happening to you. It's just longer too. There's more time for things to go wrong, honestly.
Yeah, it's a hard game. There's certain points that even at a very high skill level, one or two things going slightly wrong can just put you in that danger zone. And when you're in that danger zone, added stress of being in the tournament or just extra bad luck, a lot can happen. Ooh, Fricker's boomerang missing the big key there feels bad. It was a pretty good fight otherwise. But yeah. We're halfway through Escape. We haven't mentioned Escape at all yet, because what are we really going to mention? Good key
Tom Wilson.
We can continue our NHL discussion from pregame that these guys so rudely interrupted by starting their race. But yeah, I mean, especially at these high levels, like Escape is gonna be almost always, you're gonna be within 2-3 seconds of each other. If these guys put up a 54 Escape, they'd be pretty unhappy, and that would be pretty at the low end of getting some bad RNG or just like making a couple mistakes. I find it really hard to play early game with the nerves in a tournament. I don't know if these guys are kind of the same, if they feel the nerves. I think everybody feels some tournament nerves, but do you get it early? Do you get it late? Like, do you get it when you have a lead? Do you get it when you first start to make some mistakes? Because that's going to happen. You're going to make some mistakes in the run and try to have to fight through that feeling of, well, I'm making mistakes in the tournament. That's bad. But I feel them all the way through Escape and Eastern are when my tournament nerves are the worst. So that's been impossible for me this tournament.
Yeah, I think it's, especially the first couple splits here, it's so much just like this room, just hold up and walk across the room. There's so many rooms that are just like this. And then all of a sudden it's like ball and chain guard or double readies or just like one of there's a couple of rooms in these first two. All of Light World where it's actually one of the hardest rooms in the game to do fast. So it's large moments of lulls to start off with, and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, this room. And I think that's where the nerves can kind of come in a little bit.
It also ends up being why it feels so bad when there's only like 3 or 4 rooms that really matter in the early game, so to speak, and 3 of the 4 go badly, or you mess up in 3 of the 4, or you get bad RNG in 50% of them. It can feel a lot worse than it actually is. Like, in the grand scheme of things, a 55 escape is not gonna decide anything, obviously, but it feels so bad, especially because we're conditioned to judge things versus our PBs, where we're saying like, oh, well, okay, can't PB with a 55 escape. Oof, this is a terrible key rat RNG there. But Doom misses the key with the boom, hit the rat. So we both equally got screwed.
Yeah, the thing, I don't want to call the game simple, but the movement, compared to a platform or something, is pretty straightforward. You're actually playing fairly close to how even a task would approach it. If they were task was playing by just complete human rules. So it's just every little input or mistake, you're just fighting for frames so much in this game that just any little mistake, just you really feel it, honestly.
So that was a 54 escape and a 55 escape. So
these guys are going to feel bad if they get a 54 escape. I knew it. I was like, they're both going to get it.
Yeah, we can blame me for that one. It's a hey, at least it's close. Like, when I get a 55 escape in a tournament run, I look over and Airy has a 47 or something like that. So it could be worse. I don't know if these guys are watching their opponents. But we do see Fricker, his patented every race in this tournament, I believe he's skipped Sankart, so it's gonna get a nice little 3.5 seconds extra here on Doom.
I think it was the Void Andy match where Void got a 549 escape and Andy asked him to slow down.
Hey, I'm just coming in to mention that we are aware that we cannot see Fricker's view at the moment. We are trying to get this fixed as quickly as possible. Apologies for that.
We will focus extra hard on what Fricker is doing so that everybody is aware.
Just for now, just use your imagination while we get this fixed. Apologies in advance.
And Fricker is having literally the most excellent Octorok overworld I've ever seen.
I do think he's primed for the red rupee next, though. If there's a silver lining from killing all of these Octoroks.
The true strats to get the 4 greens. It's really what you want.
So Fricker holding a pretty nice lead on the way here into Eastern Palace. Part of it being Sankart, and part of it just being a little bit cleaner so far. Yeah, I think lead like this not going to matter for very long, obviously, but any seconds you can claw against Doom in any split, they're gonna pay dividends. Hopefully,
yeah. Assuming Fricker doesn't eat it at any point in the run with the Sankart.
That goes without saying. I would hope, but yes.
I mean, getting back to the nerves thing, there's again, there's 2 pretty dangerous rooms in these first 2 splits. We're past one of them with the B and C. Although a lot of times you don't end up dying there, but you're on 1 heart and you die later in escape. The other is double readies. It's really not all that hard to miss and then just walk right into one of them. So that's a lot of times where I get the nerves because it's just it's one of those things. You happen in a PB attempt, you just reset and it's like, oh well, that sucked, and you just start again. But here it's gonna be pretty much close to game over if that happens. So. Yep. I mean, I don't expect it to happen. It's pretty rare, but it is kind of like a spike in the danger.
Players die in Eastern Palace. Doesn't matter how good you are. Top level players, Eastern Palace can kill you very fast, especially if you're just kind of, going for nothing but speed. And that's kind of what everybody is accustomed to. Because like you said, if you mess up Eastern Palace from trying to go too fast, you just slam the reset button and if you lost, 10 minutes, no big deal. Can be hard to kind of find that downshift in gears this early on with something you've got, no muscle memory in going slower with.
Yeah, I know FSG is a big proponent of this, but like when you're trying to play safe, just do what you normally do instead of like a safe strat you haven't practiced, because it's just more likely to get you killed, honestly.
We did see Fricker get the red rupee drop back there, so he's up to 21 rupees. Very nice. Rupees really, we make a big deal like when we get the red rupee drop early in the run. It doesn't really make much of a difference.
Well, I guess a bonus 5 there.
There's an extra 5. I don't think needed to slash that guy. You usually would slash that guy if you have no rupees. But hey, 26, very healthy.
I think that Popo can come up and
he can, for sure.
And hit you. So yeah,
especially with no Sankar, you don't want to be taking any extra hits.
Yeah, I think that might be one of the few things where it's like, yeah, let me just slash and make sure I don't get hit. Because then if I do take the hit and double or hit by anything, even the cannonballs can kill you at that point.
Both get pretty good RNG in the Zelda game room through double readies for Fricker and for Doom onto Armos. Not getting Yuzu Armos from Fricker. Not that I was expecting it either, but, he likes to throw that in sometimes.
Fricker's a bit of a show-off sometimes.
If I knew how to do Yuzu Armos, you better believe I would be showing it off on stream as well.
Will we get a Poke Dash try next, though? Or did that die? Did that die with me?
Dow did it in his race against Fricker, I believe. In a losing effort, but I do think he did bust that out.
I mean, if the strat is particularly known for me doing it, it's probably going to be in a losing effort. So Will we see left or right side spin speed here? Is the other question.
Now here's a question, and we've got a long, kind of straightforward but difficult overworld section. These two guys have both been running other games very recently. Fricker's been putting a lot of time into the Lion King of all games, and Doom has actually been playing a couple other games, trying to find maybe his post Link to the Past speed game. As someone who's never speedrun any other games, I don't really have an opinion on this, but I'm talking to someone who has professionally speedrun multiple games. What kind of impact does that really have on your primary speedrun when you are focusing on other speedruns for a little while?
I mean, I don't think it's because it's still. I mean, these guys are still in the tournament, so they've been playing the game recently. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's more like when you take like a year off and then try to do an NMG tournament. It's more when it goes poorly, I would say. But both of these guys are just so good. Like, we've seen like a lot of players in this like Void hadn't played in years, and he comes out and gets a 124 in a couple months. So. For guys of these skill levels, I don't think it'll be too big of a deal. The routes and the strat and everything are still fresh in their mind, so they should be fine.
Yeah, Fricker missed the spin speed going off of the library screen there. Let's Doom catch a little bit of time up. I tend to agree that it's probably not going to mess either of these guys up, but I find it has positives and negatives when you take like a week off and try to play. So I didn't know if it was kind of the same with like I'm playing a completely different game, or I'm, playing a game on a different system and using a different controller or something like that. I don't have any experience with that and didn't know if that's like, I guess if you've done it for a little while, it's not going to really impact. But, I kind of thought it was interesting that, here we are deep in the tournament and these guys aren't playing this all day, every day. And I wonder if that'll be in their minds with some of the strats they do, or you brought up Void. Void hadn't played since I think the last Link to the Past tournament about 3 years ago, but then just grinded this so much. He was pouring so many runs into this and just like going crazy. It's not a surprise he was able to drop his PB like 2 minutes. I think both these guys have thousands and thousands of hours experience in the game. It just was interesting to me that they both were kind of the last week or two not going super hard at Link to the Past. I don't think it's not going to make their skills disappear or anything, but it was interesting. And hey, you have put a lot of time into Link to the Past, and you've put a lot of time into other speedrun games too that you're very good at. So,
I think. I mean, it's not like these guys are derusting, but like I feel like people derust at different rates. I mean, that's the thing with like Void was just able to do it so quick, and like I couldn't even get I never got anywhere close to my PB in the tournament. I got like a couple like 126s, but nothing even like a couple things on 125 pace late, but just wasn't able to ever really put it together. So
I would say for the most part, the acceptable tournament run for most players, and I'm including myself in this, if you're just like a minute off your PB, I feel like that's a pretty good tournament run. Assuming that you think your PB is like an accurate PB. Yeah,
sure. I'm just saying like all my practice, not just tournament runs, I'm just saying like all my practice, like my tournament runs are all 127s, like a little bit worse. Like even practice runs, I just wasn't really able to like kind of fully derust, and I had some controller problems and stuff too, and there was a bunch of stuff going on. So I don't know, like I just feel like I derust a lot slower than a lot of other people.
It's a hard game. I just always come back to that. Whenever there's a complicated theory on why something's not working out, it tends to just be like, well, the game's fucking hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
Whether you play it a ton or you don't play it a ton, like it's a hard game.
You're just trying to play so close to perfect in this game that just even like little things, you have to be really, really in tune with this game to be running it at a high level.
These guys have stayed pretty close to each other through Desert. A little bit of a better overworld for Doom, but then Doom lost a little bit of time later in the dungeon. Tried to pick up a blue rupee prior to the cannonball room, missed it, had to walk back a little bit. So we've had about an equal.
There's the red.
There goes his red. He's got 7 though. He did get the blue from the Popos before, and might get one here. Nope, didn't walk far enough.
Yeah, 7's not great. You really want 9. Picking up that 4th tree rupee is pretty slow.
It feels like it's just taking ages when you gotta get all 4 rupees, but it's not a humongous deal, obviously. Like, I think you'd be more upset about it in a PB attempt than you would in a tournament, because the likelihood of that making the difference in the tournament is pretty nil.
Yeah, I mean, it all adds up though, right? But like the two numbers you're looking for is 4 and 9. 4 is pretty much always free because you just grab the pot rupee in here if you don't get any. So you're always gonna have 4, but you would really like to have 9 is the magic. And then anything after that's gravy, where you can start skipping stuff.
Super good phase 2 there for Doom, finishing off Lanmo and switching to Boom. Incredible. No Boom menu for Fricker. Couple extra cycles over Doom. I think that was a 2 cycle for Doom and a 4 for Fricker. Might have been an early 5 even.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the
counting
Boom
is impossible.
The Boom thing's like new, like, as of like this tournament. I think like that's one of the harder things about like for like how
I'll never remember to do it. That's all. It's not that I don't want to do it. I will just never ever remember to do it.
Yeah, it's just what I was saying is like part of even like this game is so optimized. Like it just seems like there's little new tiny stuff all the time in this, and like when you're coming back, it's just like people are like doing stuff. You're like, wait, what the hell is this thing? Like there was the desert strat, the walk down and dash to the right thing is also fairly new that Yuzu came up with.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what the hell is this? Like everyone's doing it, and I had to like go and learn that.
Okay, no fake flipper disasters in this race. You'll love to see it. Doom getting use of that boomerang there, knocking the pickle out of the way. Fricker will dash around the pickle. I'm not actually sure the numerical time save when you get to knock that pickle out of the way.
Well, I mean, you could always just use the bow, right? So it's not actually a time save; it just saves you
the arrow.
But
it saves you the arrow, and I mean, I never try and shoot that guy with the arrow anyway, because like the 2 or 3 times I've missed the arrow. And so at least you have a bigger buffer with the boomerang because you've got more surface area to work with here. So I guess there's like a little bonus to that as well. Very safe there. Nicely done.
I also will never shoot that guy unless I have like 16 arrows. Like Doom's got like you really don't want to be wasting too many early here.
Oh, terrible spin speed to miss, but he gets the second one.
Yeah, it's one of the 2 I think is worth actually retrying. Although you'll definitely see people retry more of those because you're just mad that you missed it, or maybe you forgot how to, do the screen without spin speed, so you just retry it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely more spin speeds that are not worth retrying at all than there are ones worth retrying. But that is definitely a screen that you're going to want spin speed on.
Yeah.
How the heck did Doom slide through that dead rock? Pretty cool.
I don't know. And this is one of the places we'll be keeping an eye on Fricker's not having Sankart. One of the big reasons to take it is this dungeon, in my opinion. There's just so much stuff that can...
probably okay for now, but, let's see how the basement treats him first. Oh, man. Doom wedging that mini Moldorm in there forever. He's never getting out of there.
On the boom strats too here for Fricker.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of boomerangs in Hera. Doom's got his break. Let's see if Fricker can get his.
We're calculating. Here we go. Oh, no, yeah. This is the risk of doing it. Just hitting that switch causes the entire room to pause, and you lose a good amount of time. Fricker does get it. The coffee break part actually isn't important. It's just nice, but as long as you get to the other side there.
Yeah, surprisingly hard to do that consistently. I do not do any boom strats because I'm very bad at them. But they do save. It is a nice little time save here in the basement where there's really not much else you can do to save any time on these rooms besides get good RNG from the mini Moldorms and...
Yeah.
Upstairs Hera is very fun. We got Beetles, we got Petting Zoo. I don't know if Doom will be doing the early bomb jump. I know he normally does. I don't know if he did. He fell in the early bomb jump in his race against me. I don't know if he did it in his last race.
Yeah, that's probably something you're just sticking with, honestly.
Yeah, I honestly, if you feel like your failure rate is...
Oh, he's menuing early, though, so... Yeah, looks like he is bailing out on it.
Yep. Which is fine. Obviously, it's not a humongous deal. Again, 1 second, almost never going to make or break a tournament race.
Both of them are opting out of it. Yeah, it's one of those things that it's like the beginning of... I mean, I'm sure everyone's heard my Light World rants, but it's just like... The early part of this game is so reset heavy with just like things going, like having terrible landmo, blue balls... Moldorm hitting you down. It's like I just never felt like, yeah, you know what I want to do? I want to add another reset point into this. Like, I just didn't feel like I've done it. I can do it. It's not a big deal. But it's like, no, I don't. I mean, same with AD. You had all those reset points early, and it's just like you didn't want to get by all of that and just be like, oh, I missed early bomb jump, so I have to reset my game now. It's like, no, that's cool. You can have the 2 seconds game. Fine.
It was a pretty good Moldorm fight there from Doom. Pretty good Moldorm fight there from Fricker as well. Fricker bailed on the bumper skip. I couldn't see if he was lined up poorly or not, but ended up just walking around the bumper prior to Moldorm. Pretty nice Hera, all things considered, for Doom. He's actually coming out of Hera ahead of PB. Imagine that.
Yeah, 22-24 is pretty damn good. I think did he have a 2-cycle landmo? I think he did. Right?
He did. Yes, yeah. He had a good landmo. Not the best desert, but a very good landmo. Yeah, actually, Doom's PB is super insane in that he has a 2740 AGA entry, which Doom himself will tell you is really not very good, and then ends with a 12349. So the rest of his run is super good in his PB. You're seeing him have to pick up all the rupees there, though. That doesn't feel good. And also losing the bomb drop to the bird. That's early enough that you could get back around to some of your drops if you're looking for a bright side to that, but...
Yeah, it's not the biggest... Like, you don't need that bomb at all. There's also... I know I was front-loading... Like, I always front-load bombs in my PB. I get the pod bomb just so I have a backup through the entire run. It's something that's not worth, like, the 20 frames that you save by picking up a more efficient bomb later over the entire course of the run versus just having an extra one.
Yeah, and there's so many places to pick up some extra bombs, honestly. And the fact that it's a tournament race, I wouldn't be surprised that, you might have a little bit of a different bomb route anyway in your head for this race than you would in a PB attempt, where you probably just want to grab the minimum.
Yeah, like tournaments, I was grabbing pod and I was grabbing toilet like every run, just because.
Yeah, it can't be a bad idea to just have as many resources as possible. You never know when you're gonna miss the throw at Ice Rod Cave, or you're gonna mess up Spooky, and if you don't have another run, if you don't have another bomb, then it's just like this is a massive time loss.
Yeah, like when you're doing, it makes more sense in PB attempts because it's like, okay, if you're in a situation where you've wasted so many bombs, something has probably gone pretty terribly wrong, and you're just not PBing. But in a tournament race, right, your opponent's more than likely also going to be making mistakes, so you have a little bit more leeway with some of that time loss. So it's better to have the backups. But yeah, when you're doing PB, it's like there's no reason to be like, well, I got to have an extra bomb in case I fail IPBJ. Because it's like, well, I just lost so much time doing that anyways. That who cares?
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of things that are very oh no.
Yeah, like that. We're not gonna have beams now for the first room is. There's a backup that I never really quite learned. We'll see if I'm sure Doom knows it. And then you have the Evil Ash backup in the second room, which isn't too bad to preserve the fairy. And of course, for guys at this skill level, not having the fairy in Turtle Rock isn't like certain doom or anything.
Yeah, definitely not. Nice to have the beams. You're losing certainly against what Doom could do with beams. He'll be losing a little bit of time without the sword beams, but if he's good with his backups, it's not going to be a humongous deal. Just really annoying to take any damage on any overworld segment, and especially one where beams are so important. But he does look like he knows good backup in this.
I do know that backup. I just completely forgot about it. I forgot about it exists. Oh, and you get some rough RNG here. Oh, poke dash. Yeah, that was very
heady poke dash. Yes, I like it.
Yeah,
so how the room is supposed to look on Fricker's side, and you can see already the time that Fricker is made up in these couple rooms.
Yeah, I didn't quite see what the guard RNG coming into that room, whether the RNG just took away from him, but got lucky not getting the drop from the first guy, and then was able to poke dash to just force the second guy not to drop anything.
Getting all the guard aggro's in this room, Jesus.
Yeah. But yeah, Doom's, both of their prize packs are still fine for Turtle Rock. So Doom's got like a little bit more than a one-room lead here. Basically one blue ball difference here, which is, I was saying like, I guess unless you're playing you, generally you don't see like 7 versus 0, but the difference of one blue ball isn't that crazy, and it could even up this race. Of course, we always say this, and then it seems kind of like a rule of fate that just whoever's trailing is actually going to get more. So
I think the number that was making the rounds in the beginning of the tournament. Oh man, Doom is just not having a good time in these rooms. I hate these rooms. We're all tied up now thanks to a little bit of a rough Agate Tower. Both getting good RNG in this room too, which is actually feels super rare to get good RNG in Circle of Pots. But hey, we got 2 good RNGs. These upper rooms in Agate Tower, just when they don't go well, you lose so much time in them. It feels so bad.
Yeah, I mean, Agate Tower's probably one of the more straightforward dungeons in the light world until you get to this asshole at the end here. But I don't think I've ever seen a right side dash before. I guess it doesn't matter.
It just looks.
Yeah, I guess it is symmetrical. I don't know. Everyone just goes to the left, so
it just looks. It looks incorrect. I'm sorry. It doesn't. I don't know. Something sits wrong here.
It's like when people go to the left side in pod in the second room. It's just like that can't be right.
So there's a 50% chance that the players will be within 1 blue ball of each other, I think. Or a 50% chance that it's 12 seconds or less, or I don't remember I think it's 50% 12 seconds or less difference between the 2 runners. But, math doesn't really matter when it comes to AGA, so we'll find out together how much of a deficit we're looking at.
Well, it's a 100% chance you get 6, so... Yeah, I got 6 against you when we raced.
Of course you did.
You put in like, you were like 0, and I just wrote, take a fucking guess.
I gotta absolutely admit to not really counting the blue balls here.
Yeah,
there've been a lot between both of these guys. Fricker's got a lot. I think Doom has not quite as much, but has still getting them here. Blue balls everywhere. It's fantastic. Both onto the second lightning phase. I will figure out how many blue balls they got once they're done with the fight.
Yeah, well, these blue balls are going good with Doom's cockface, so.
Alright, so that would be 4 for Doom, I believe. Unless I'm going crazy. Fricker is still getting balls. Still balls.
Yeah, like I said, the guy who's trailing is like, yeah, well, blue balls could totally catch them up. It's like, no, it's just going to work the other way.
I don't even know if he's done yet. Okay, he is done. Good. All right, 7. 7 versus 4. So not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, it's
but not ideal for Fricker.
It's 36 seconds. And again, like, you don't want to just give, well, not like he's giving it away, but you don't want to let Doomtap have a 36 second head start into Dark World, as you're saying how good his Dark World was in his PB.
Yeah, and especially like Doom is one of the best end game runners. Like his GTs are fantastic, and his Ganon is up there against literally anybody's. So you know, you kind of really want to be ahead going into the later stages of the run versus Doom in a race, and it's not going to be impossible for Fricker to make up this time. Fricker is a top player as well, but you know, you kind of want to have it be a little closer, because the longer we go with a deficit like this, the more you're reliant on Doomtap just making a big mistake, you know, and not being able to play well enough to catch up yourself.
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
we're still early. There's so much that can happen. It really is not anything that anybody's super concerned with yet, but we'd like to see it a little closer is all. Of course, we don't always get what we want.
At this level, I'm going to go ahead and say that, like, it's already probably kind of out of the realm of, like, Fricker catching up just because Doom played sloppily. Like, you kind of need Doom to make at least one big mistake. That being said, this game is full of 30-second mistakes. Like,
oh yeah,
there is probably multiple 30-second mistakes you can make in every dungeon. So, you know, just like failing hammer jump, failing IPBJ is a chunk of time. You know, even like 2 of like the 10-second ones, you know, is going to put it right back in.
And look, it's different too. Like oh my god, how in the world? Well, I don't know how the jelly didn't get hit, and I don't know how Doom realized in time to not take damage. So 2 things I can't believe happened on that screen. It's tough to play in a tournament. Like, things you wouldn't normally mess up, rooms you normally wouldn't lose 10 seconds in almost ever. You know, you'd start to feel a little different in a tournament. I don't know. Like, if somebody can kind of put that away and not be affected by it, that seems like an amazing skill to have in a setting like this. And I think feeling extra stress, feeling extra pressure, you know, knowing you have a 30-something second lead is sometimes not a really good thing, because you're like, I just have to play fine and not make any mistakes. And like, of course, having that in your head is, you know, gonna affect you. So there's so many places you can lose 30 seconds in this, like you said, even for runners of this caliber. We've got a few of them in this split. We're going up to Hammer Yump here. Not unheard of to lose 30 seconds at Hammer Yump. Not unheard of to lose a ton of time in Pod Basement. So hopefully it doesn't happen to either of these guys. But
yeah, like, there's just something
really far to the right here. Hopefully this works. Yeah. Okay. You can...
I mean, for the race, I guess we should have been rooting. It didn't work.
No, we would never do that. We would never do that. When you put that bomb too far to the right, you do get a few pixels, a percentage of the pixels where that you're standing, and it just won't work anymore. So I didn't know if that was too far to the right, but it always scares me when I see the far right bomb.
Yeah, it's like when it's far right, you need to kind of like shoot the gap between, like, because you want to stand close to it to get a good like boost from it. But if you're too far to the right in general, like, you just won't have the room. So you kind of have to like thread the needle a little bit more when it's that far. But besides that one little tiny mistake Doom made on jumping down with the jelly, pretty good, pretty solid pod from him since then. Same with Fricker. I haven't noticed anything going wrong on Fricker's side.
I think Doom had a random bonk on the overworld inside one of the
oh, well, then it's trash.
Covered passages. I don't even know what the heck they're called. The thatched roof. I don't know. whatever it is, random bonk in there, because, you know, that's going to happen every 200 runs. You just bonk someplace you've never bonked before. It feels amazing.
Yeah, I think Chex is correct. They're just hedges.
Hedges? It's like a thatched roof. You can kind of see through the roof.
You can see through hedges. Like,
the hedges aren't above your head.
I mean, like if you trim them, I guess. I don't know. Look, it's a fantasy dark world. Why are you
hedges? They're hollowed out hedges. All right.
Excuse me, I've never seen any of these hedges in real life, or pigs dancing on. Like, this is the suspension of disbelief you can't have in this game.
I am not suspending my disbelief. I'm trying to accurately identify the roofing there. That's all. Guess what? We're in Helmasaur, and we're doing spin speed, and we're hitting the spin speed. At least I think he hit the spin speed. Yeah, he's not retrying.
We did.
Playing it pretty safe here, which is fine. Although, if you play Helmasaur too safe, it actually gets more dangerous. Doom doing a very good job avoiding all the fireballs, not going for any extra hammers, and this is sort of where we get... Yeah, alright, he's fine.
Yeah, I got kind of lucky there. If Helma comes, the one thing you don't want to see if that spin speed is Helma coming all the way down. With Sword Out, it's pretty easy, because you can just... with Sword Out, you can move perpendicular to Helmasaur, but you can't with spin speed.
Very good, okay.
So yeah, what I was saying is with spin speed, if he comes all the way down, you kind of have to cancel out of it, and it can be a little tricky.
Yeah, it can be weird. I don't think, as long as you're getting the hammer hits on Helma, and I'm not positive if there is like a couple fringe RNGs of all of his walk patterns, but if you're getting the hammer hits in when you should be, I don't think Helma can ever pin you on the bottom. But if you start playing a little safe and skip some hammer hits because you're trying to dodge fireballs, I do think you can break his mask in a spot that will have him possibly pin you on that wall. Which is what, it's just another thing. There's like all of the, especially boss fights, but there's a lot of rooms too. If you're not doing them the appropriate amount of aggressive, it can like circle back around to become dangerous again, despite the fact that you're trying to take it safely. So, like
a Cold Stare and Viddy are another two really good examples. Like if you go into Viddy with 5 hearts, the best thing you can do is just do it correctly. You know, trying to play it safe is more likely than not just going to end in disaster. Same with Cold Stare, because you have to kind of place that those icicles dropping in the right place. And Doom gets lotteried on Overworld right here.
It's funny, he almost got lottery on the first Popo, or the first, whatever that guy is, and somehow didn't. He got like the lottery RNG and just didn't get hit. And then, of course, got the lottery RNG and got lottered on the next one. So,
yeah,
can't win with this game.
If there's a lottery you want to lose, though, it's that one, because Thieves Town is pretty safe. There's a couple room in Thieves Town where the RNG can just decide to hit you, but as long as you've only taken the 1 hit on the Overworld here, you should still be fine. It's when you take like 2, or you bonk and get hit by the vine chompy thingy, whatever the hell it's called.
There's like 2 competing things about Thieves Town. The first is like all of the enemies do a lot of damage, so anything that hits you takes lots of your hearts away. The second thing is that you frequently finish the dungeon without taking any damage, so even coming into the dungeon down like 5 hearts is not necessarily the most dangerous thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, new AD comes in here with 1 heart, so
yeah,
you know, like you just like end Fighter Sword, just like, well, have enjoy. Hope Hellway doesn't screw you. Like that
was a very weird flute screen there for Doom. I'm not sure. Doom was having some trouble getting on the right pixel. Then he walked too high and missed the flute pickup the first time. Very strange overworld for him so far. But getting through the important screen here, so should be good to enter the dungeon on 6 hearts.
Yeah, getting hit by Usain Bolt is probably the worst thing you can do in this overworld.
Yeah, it almost will never go wrong, and when it does, most players don't have any idea what to do, and I'm including myself in that. There's famous clips.
Scream. And
there's good clips from a lot of very top runners who put thousands of hours into this game, just utterly perplexed about how to escape Usain if they get caught there. And it won't happen except, 1 in every 500 runs.
Yeah, there's so much RNG in this game that there's, strats for weird situations, but like there's not necessarily a lot of good strats for like things that you can just avoid under your own control that sometimes go poorly. And like that's honestly one of the bigger things in a tournament. It's why Andy's such a good, strong tournament runner, is because all the rando experience. Like he's seen so many bizarre situations There's been a lot of times I've been watching him. It's like, I'd be dead if that happened. And he was just like, I lost like 1 second. It's like, all right, cool. Like,
it is very much about knowing all of the things that can go wrong so that you can either avoid them or you know how to deal with them so that they only go that amount wrong and not exponentially wronger.
yeah, there's also just like, not necessarily like knowing what's wrong, but like converting from like playing on autopilot to like playing in reaction mode. Like that's something like people who run, especially the 3 heart low. It's just like you can't prepare for everything in that. So it's a lot more like just reaction based, as opposed to NMG, which is like do this on this screen and you'll be fine, theoretically. So it's just a lot more like knowledge, and it's switching gears between like I know exactly what I'm doing to like I'm just like playing the game almost casually, where I'm just trying to avoid stuff and reacting to things as they happen.
You mentioned 3 heart low. Have both these guys completed 3 heart low? I know Doom has.
Yeah, Doom definitely. I want to say Fricker. He was running it. I assume he completed at least one run.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did as well.
Yeah, Louis saying yes.
These guys are both pretty extensively experienced with low percent in general, which is a great way to level up your game skill, honestly. Being able to do things in the low percent state. Oh god, Fricker getting bullied.
Even low legacy, just
yeah. Oh yeah, it's fantastic. I know that was one of the things. I can remember when Dow was grinding NMG and then took some time to go grind low percent for a while. Came back to NMG just like super powered from his time in low percent, which seems to be the case with people who spend a significant percent of time playing low percent.
Yeah, it's just like things that feel scary in NMG. It's just like, oh, I have an extra heart here. I've got a better sword. Like this is easy. Like like
yeah, it's just like an attention to detail thing or something. I don't know, but it's or just maybe the amount of game skill to succeed at low percent. I always have to get to a certain prerequisite. I'm not sure.
And there's Doom picking up that toilet bomb I was talking about before.
Although I would be surprised. I'd be surprised if Fricker doesn't also. I think it's just you want to pick up the easy bombs in your way in this because you don't know when you're going to need an extra bomb. You hope not to need it. Fricker's going to skip it.
Yeah, I mean they have the same amount of bombs here. I think this is the correct bomb count.
Fricker might still be due. Yeah, Fricker's just got the arrow, so he could still just get the bomb drop anyway. We know Doom's already passed his bomb drop a long time ago.
Yeah, I think this is the right bomb count for going into IPBJ with 2 bombs.
Oh, Fricker on 1 heart.
Yeah. 1 heart is not what you want to go into blind with.
I don't know where the heart is. Okay. Got some extra magic. We're fine. He's probably going to pick up the heart upstairs as well.
Blind, obviously, blind's a scripted fight, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you kind of always want to go in here with at least 3 hearts because it's pretty easy just to kiss blind. And then you can just kind of recover as long as it wasn't like in the, the second phase there or anything. But it's pretty easy to get hit by blind in the 3rd phase just accidentally, and then you can just recover with 1 more slash. So we'll see if Fricker picks up the heart right before blind.
Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised if he doesn't, but he's not going to. All right, he just wanted that heart, I guess, to make sure nothing happened on the way out of the Mitz room, because you can't get hit by the jelly there, and you don't want to just insta die. But
that, again, or you can dash on the bridge wrong, but.
I mean, should still be fine, obviously. This is a fight that is fine 99% of the time. But
why are you saying these things out loud, Blaine? Okay, okay, he did take...
That was planned.
A lot of times you don't get hit by a fireball. You're more likely to get hit by blind herself, but...
It's so easy to just want to be a little more sure in that 3rd phase, and I think that's all Fricker was like, I don't want to get hit, so I'm going to be a little more sure of each one of my hits, and of course you do that and you take a hit because you're not on your normal pattern.
Yeah, like I was saying, playing, like we were both saying, just like slowing down on the bosses, trying to be quote unquote safe is the way you get hit and the way you die. So,
but Fricker is through. It was just a little bit of an issue. He was trying to dash through. I just think he had a bad cancel on the 2nd dash in the jail and ended up standing right in the way of one of the Zazacs coming over. And then, of course, got double teamed by the other Zazac coming over. And again, everything in Thieves Down hits really hard. You don't have to get hit by that many enemies to get into a really bad health situation.
Yeah, so. And they exit just 22 seconds apart, so it's still in that kind of range where it's like Doom needs to make it. I mean, just one quote unquote big mistake, in that 20-second range. Again, even like an IPBJ failure is going to do it. There's a lot of stuff in Skullwoods that can go wrong. Mummy statue can go wrong very quickly. So just Moth, Moth can chew away 5-10 seconds from you pretty easily. That would pretty much have the lead. So plenty of game left.
Yeah, Fricker actually made up about almost 10 seconds in pod alone. Just because I think Doom had a really slow Helma fight compared to Fricker's. And then Thieves Town was about a couple more seconds back into Doom's favor, but Fricker has clawed back a little bit of time here in the Dark World. We're into a split that's pretty straightforward. What is Doom
I think
doing?
He missed... Or he accidentally hit the portal, I think?
And then scrolled the screen?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not
well,
sure.
there's
Did
a
he
good
just think
5
he
seconds.
had the sword already? Did he think he had the sword already? Maybe that's what it was.
I have one time realized I didn't have a sword by bonking into the bushes in front of C Safe House, so you know.
I mean, I gotta admit, I wasn't paying 100% attention because this is a pretty autopilot part of the run, but
I was actually saying as a joke, sometimes you lose 10 seconds in picking up the sword because you forget where you are in the cycle. Or
it's a significant time difference there.
Yeah, I mean, we can see he's just a C house behind.
Fricker's a lot closer than he started the split at, so...
it would be a nightmare to live in this house. Like, what kind of floor plan is that?
Not a lot of square footage either for your rent.
Yeah, that's like some shit you see on like the New York City apartments where it's like 100 square feet, shaped like a C, no kitchen, $3,000 a month.
Oh man, Doom getting some pretty bad mummy RNG. Gets the 1 slash, but doesn't even get rid of both mummies, so it just has to kind of go slow. Didn't take a hit, which is a very big important part.
Oh, we have the false prophet. Yep.
Oh no, and he got in. Okay. Hopefully he can pull this up in time. Yep. Okay.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. The stuck mummy, left side mummy, is typically not the guy that's going to mess with you in that room. It's the right side mummy.
Now, I think the RNG was fine at that point. It just Fricker made, it's pretty easy to make any sort of small mistake. And then he kind of went out of his way to fight the left one, even though the right one was the one really in his way. But it's just so hard to be especially when it goes wrong, trying to that's one of those big react rooms I was talking about before. Sure, there's a way to do it, but when it starts going wrong, how fast you can recover is very important. And now Fricker is probably regretting the lack of Sankar. Yeah, right there. He takes the bonk instead to preserve his 3 hearts and will allow him to take 1 hit from Mothra at the end there.
Yeah, 3 hearts, very much a danger area. 5, anything below 5 to me is kind of uncomfortable going towards the back. 5 is kind of really where you want to be. It lets you play and be fine if you take 1 hit from something back here. It lets you play Moth, the appropriate amount of aggressive. But again, I'm sure Fricker has hundreds of times finished off Skullwoods without taking any more damage, so he's not exactly panicking at this point.
Yeah, I mean, 3 going into Moth isn't too bad. Moth, you certainly start off as aggressive as possible, going for the double, and then kind of just hoping he goes to a good spot where you don't have to worry about it. It's just when you're on 2 hearts or 1 heart, when you start going for one of the poke dashes up top, and maybe the conveyor's going the wrong way, so you can't get there, and you're worried he's going to beam you, and you kind of have to bail out of it. That's when it really sucks to be on 2 hearts. But Fricker's still on 3 here. Probably not going to go out of the way for the extra heart here. Yeah. Moth does 2, but the spikes do 1, so being necessarily on even odd doesn't necessarily matter because you don't know where you're going to get hit by.
Yeah, hopefully everything's good.
Oh,
I think he only got 1 there. Got very good poke dash though. Got right up in it. Was able to play the right. That's exactly where you don't want to only have 1 or 2 hearts, like you were saying, because if you can't commit to the poke dash right when you're supposed to, then you're not going to get it.
At the end there too, Moth was coming kind of down on top of him. If he was only on 2 hearts, probably wouldn't have been brave enough to just turn around and slash him there. Which ended up working in this situation. But if you're on 2, it's you probably back off a little bit, and then maybe Moth goes back up by the spikes, and then it turns into hell. So yeah, having the 3 here was a pretty big deal.
Pretty adventurous Skull Woods for both players, though, with Doom's Tempered Sword adventures and then a pretty long, prolonged moth fight. Fricker had the faster moth fight, but had the pretty large amount of time lost there in Mummy Statue, so I don't know what that's going to do to our time difference here. Doom got out at 48:52, and Fricker looks like 15-ish seconds behind, so making up some significant time, honestly, here in these Dark World splits so far.
Yeah, and this is a lot of what you see of races is, Doom kind of keeps opening the door for Fricker to make up time, and then Fricker has something else go wrong. Because again, the game is just hard, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong.
It's also really difficult. Oh man, bonking on that bush. Come on, please, game. It's also really difficult to kind of get out of the PB mindset. Like at this point, either of these guys in a PB attempt would check out of this run. Like, okay, I can't PB anymore. I can now switch to a different mental gear. But like in a tournament race, everything is still on the line. You still need to try and play your absolute best. And it can be pretty difficult to make that switch. It's not even something that most players are practiced at, because every run you do is a PB attempt.
Except for Airy, who just is... Airy's ability to take just trash runs and like, oh, I got a gold GT. It's just like,
Airy sees red. Dude, I had a 1:20 lead on him out of Light World, and I was miserable because I knew what was going to happen. Anybody who has played in a weekly before and been, run down by the Terminator that is Airy, like, it's just...
I think I had a bigger lead on him in my race because like he fell to Moldorm, and I was at that point I was still just like, well, I'm gonna lose. Like it wasn't even like I was like, well, maybe if I have like the perfect run and like something else happens to him, then maybe I'll be okay. But like,
it's just
then like I made a couple mistakes and I was just like, no, we're done.
As a testament to Airy has worked very hard on that mindset of like gonna finish runs, and it's something that most players don't have like a focus at. Which puts, in this kind of spot when things are going wrong in a tournament race, like you do have to kind of remind yourself, I've maybe not played my best for these 6 splits, but there's still 5 splits to go. And if I have a good 5 splits, I can win the race, which is my goal when I started. So,
and then they'll come in
these
here
players
and
have had great Dark Worlds, and there's still plenty of time for them to have a solid, run of splits here. So. It's just interesting. It's such a mental thing, speedrunning in general and speedrunning tournaments. Like it's to me one of the more interesting parts of doing runs just for PBs, and also in a tournament. Like just the mental aspect of it is something we don't get a lot of normally.
Yeah, I mean, like there certainly are like people you can call like tournament specialists that are just like much better at like the tournament mentality, but like then you run into guys like Airy who are just like so good across the board that like it doesn't matter like how much you're better at tournaments, like he's just good. So
and, even somebody like Airy, you ask him, he's like, yeah, I get nervous, like I don't play my best in a tournament, it's hard. Whatever that mindset is worth, like it still can go out the window, like because you've never been in a tournament race and had a 5-second lead going into Turtle Rock or something like that. It's not something you're practiced at. And so much of speedrunning is I've practiced this situation hundreds of times.
Yeah, I mean, it's not mentality-wise, like, and I kind of like treat them just like as PB attempts, but like the PB is my opponent at that moment, so it's like being 5 seconds ahead of your PB is really no difference than being like 5 seconds ahead of your opponent at that point. So it's pretty similar.
All of this, of course, easier said than done, by the way. Everything we're saying right now is so easy to say it. Oh, there goes Doom's arrows. Doom got all the way back around to the arrows, but he missed them again. So,
okay, here's IPBJ, one of the bigger potential just like time losses you can have. Should be fine. We've all fallen off at the end here, though. All right, he's good. Let's see how Fricker does it.
I would say at this skill level, absolute Ice Palace bomb jump disasters are pretty rare. Like everybody's gonna step off the edge once, maybe even twice or something like that. As long as you're not wasting your bombs in the attempts, like it's not really too much of a humongous issue.
I've got a.
But there still are times where like, oops, there goes my last bomb, and now I have to try and hover to save the run or something. Neither of these runners gets in that situation, so that's good.
I've got a clip of mine that I believe it's called "Clips Aren't Even Long Enough for This Travesty." It's me like failing IPPJ and then like getting across and then like falling into the hole at the end and then like failing it again and then going across and then falling in the hole again. And
Honestly,
then, like, the clip just ends before I even leave the room.
Honestly, the more common way to really mess up that room at this skill level, at a higher skill level, is probably exactly what you said, where you do the bomb jump, get across, and then fall later in the room and have to redo it.
Yeah, there's... Especially when your IPJ was like perfect. It's like, oh, this is great. And then like, we've all done it, right? Because it's at the end. Like, it's like, okay, time to go look at chat. You glance over and you're just walking off the side all of a sudden.
Very nice cold stare there from Doom. Fricker going to go for the double poke. Looks like he's good too. Excellently done. Very nice close race as we head into the later mid-game, early late game. I don't know if we ever decided the debate between where mid-game stops and late game starts.
Yeah, I mean, I always consider late game mire, usually.
Are we doing similar shopping, by the way? Where do these guys shop? I don't even know.
I missed the old days when just everyone did it the correct way, mire.
It looks like Fricker's going to get Ice Rod and T-Rock, and he's going to get Ether here, which is what Doom does, I think. I can't see all of Doom splits, so... maybe that's what he does too. That's a 55.08 for Doom out of Ice Palace.
Yeah, I was saying that there's not a lot of places where Doom's just gonna lose the lead just from little mistakes, but you know what Swamp Palace is, right?
Hey, that's 16 seconds for Fricker, so... oh man, Doom is just not getting... there's a lot of little RNGs that are costing Doom a second or two across the board in this run.
I thought you were going to say that Fricker was going to get a 8 second. I mean, yeah, it's been the kind of the story of this match is Doom makes a couple mistakes, looks like it's opened the door for Fricker, and then Fricker does something arguably worse. So... kind of just been stuck in this like 30-second gap, it looks like still. Yeah, a little bit wider. It's up to 40 seconds now, 44 seconds. But it's the thing, it's like when your opponent makes mistakes, it's like, especially a guy against Doom, it's like, he's gonna make a couple mistakes, but like, that just means you have to play perfectly and not make those mistakes that he already made. Like, it's just so hard to make up time.
Alright, almost done with the Swamp Overworld. We'll be going into Swamp Palace. Swamp Palace, I think, is a pretty fun dungeon. Not to watch, but to play. There's a lot of like little, not high stakes optimizations. You're very rarely just going to get completely owned and lose like tons and tons of time inside Swamp Palace. It's usually going to be the Overworld, especially if you get Ether, and then the boss. But in between, there's like some fun, interesting stuff going on that, you know, you're looking for every frame and you really don't have to risk very much to try to get every frame here. So I enjoy it, but it's also not really likely to be a big separator once we are in. Oh, very nice anti-fairy skip from Fricker. Love to see it. Doom continuing to get bad RNG. Can't catch a break.
I just want to point out that I only keep the death by 1,000 paper cups alive to annoy Greenham. But it only annoys him a little bit, but I'm hoping that I say it so much that it ends up killing him. Kind of like death by 1,000 paper cuts, you know? Something like that. Oh no, is that a Steven Ira? Oh, I gotta stop saying it now. I didn't know.
I mean, we call it death by 1,000 blah blah blah, but we don't really see very many deaths here in Swamp Palace. Well, I'm not jinxing the runners here by saying that either. This is certainly the split we are least likely to see a death.
Speaking of shoutouts to Yoho when I was writing the 80 tut, and I put all the places you have to worry about fake Dark World, and I didn't realize Swamp was... I didn't think anyone would actually ever die in there. I was like, oh yeah, I guess Swamp counts too.
I mean, I will say everybody probably has died in Swamp at least once, but...
Oh, I had my first 129 pace. I was like 30 seconds ahead. Died to Argus coming up and hitting me from below. It was great.
I do think it's probably across the board everybody's least death count dungeon, so... Doesn't mean you can't lose a lot of time. Like, you can lose a lot of time in this dungeon, especially the longer you make it by elongating your overworld, but...
Either here...
Oh, man, Doom can't catch a break with these enemies. He's getting every lousy RNG.
I guess even Thieves Town will kill you. Yeah, it's pretty rare to actually die in here, but...
Alright, doesn't get terrible RNG in Sociable Firebar. The streak is broken.
Is there actually RNG in this room?
Fricker going for the north dash. Gets through, which is typically not what's going to happen, but I think every time I've seen Fricker do that in this tournament, it's worked out for him, so...
But yeah, probably the biggest time difference you can see in here is if one of these guys gets 0 cycle and the other misses it, but they're both pretty accomplished at it. There is the small chance that Argus just gives you a pattern where you can't get it if he gives you 3 fasts. It's over before you really have a chance to get all of them.
Doom headed to the back here. Fricker picks up his hook shot. So close still. Obviously, not a lot of separation that's really even possible in this split. But yeah, it will be interesting to see if one player gets 0 cycle and one player doesn't. That's a pretty significant chunk of time for getting late here in the run. Fricker's also looking pretty good on his resources. Got a whole spare bomb. He's gonna have 24 arrows if he decides to pick up the refill arrows. Doom is gonna pick up both. He's gonna be on 2 and 26. So they're both gonna be sitting pretty nicely with their resources. This is a bomb pickup that just to me feels like in a tournament race, you're just always gonna pick it up. Give yourself that spare, especially because you can just pick up some extra arrows while you're at it.
Yeah, but at this point, like, what bomb are you going to miss?
Oh,
like,
Doom did not get his hook dash there. He's not even going to retry. He's just going to... Wait, he gets some terrible Argus movements, too. He's not going to be able to...
Yeah, he might get a 2 cycle here. This might change the race right here.
Well, Fricker going for his 0, and he's going to be able to get it. So that's a significant chunk of time.
Yeah, that was the big mistake that we were kind of looking for to even this up. Doom still with a little bit of a lead. Doom also, because Argus was middle of fucking nowhere when he killed him, couldn't really do the second phase either.
Yeah, that is a large chunk of time just on Argus there. That's almost 10 seconds-ish just on Argus, it looks like.
Yeah, brand new game now. Through the... honestly, I was saying Argus just because it was like, oh, we gotta, hype up the race a little bit, but like that's not gonna happen. They're probably both gonna get it. It'll be fine. But Doom misses it kind of in the worst way possible too, and doesn't quite get the second cycle, which can, if it just kind of starts going bad, can happen. But gets a very, very long one. It's pretty much the full second cycle there, before the next hurricane, whatever it's called.
Yeah, we are super close now. Fricker's done we entered Dark World, and you were kind of saying, I think, what everybody was thinking, like, hey, if Doom just plays his game, there's probably not enough time that Fricker can claw back just on his own, but, Doom is definitely not
well, you gotta, it helps if you gold Swamp Palace. Like,
there is a nice 1 second gold in Swamp, yeah.
Yeah, so that was just, not just Argus, because I was like, I was shocked it was just Argus doing that, but Fricker just completely nailed Swamp Palace there, completely even this race up, and then misses standing on the warp. So
you can't have it all.
Yeah, but I mean, like you were saying, like Fricker was not having a a great run. Just looking at the split. I mean, it was, looking at splits, +3 in pod, so a good pod, and then, +12, +13 in Thieves Town and Skullwoods.
Yeah, I mean, he made up 12 seconds in Swamp. That's a 12-second save versus Doom Swamp, so huge chunk of time.
Yeah, so Fricker kind of had those like two kind of icky splits, and then really just kind of pulled it back together. So I think you're saying with the mentality before, just being able to keep it together.
Oh, Doom! Oh, I mean, I can't believe that didn't hit for Fricker. Okay. Fricker got like a double hit on the fire rod there, and didn't get the slash on the Wizrobe, even though it looked like neither of those things happened. So lose a little bit of time there with the slightly longer one-cycle Mire 2. Which, I mean, at this point, that is significant. Losing, 2, 3, 4 seconds in a room is, a lot more significant when the race is only 4 seconds apart coming in than it was before.
Yeah, I mean, Mire's, besides Mire 2, Mire is pretty straightforward, and apparently in this room, okay. It's actually, it's one of those dungeons that is terrifying for new players, but once you, there's not really any RNG or anything in here, or at least not like scary RNG that's going to kill you. Like once you kind of get this dungeon down, it's very straightforward, especially if you don't do your shopping here. It's a pretty consistent split.
Spooky and Viddy. That's basically what the entire split comes in. There's a lot of very small RNGs that'll cost you a second in the lobby both ways, and Mire 2 can give you some bad RNG depending on whether you do the fast strat or the not so fast strat. But nothing scary, like you said, nothing that's going to make a huge difference. Becomes a very consistent split, provided that you can deal with what Viddy does, and that you don't mess up Spooky. And that's basically the entire... I mean, maybe like the Bomb Slug, but again, like you can know the ways to deal with the Bomb Slug RNGs.
But then we hit Turtle Rock, which is the exact opposite of that, which is... so this, honestly, we're just kind of probably through Mire. We're going to be jockeying for a second or two here. Doom got a little time back. Ooh, Fricker taking the safe route here. That's shocking, honestly. I mean, I guess
it's kind of surprising. He's down a heart, but I mean, taking a heart there from Spark Gamble would not be anything resembling danger yet. And typically saving one extra heart for Viddy is almost never going to matter either. Yeah,
it was one of those you can do it on 5 hearts, and these guys are definitely consistent doing it on 5 hearts. You never want to be forced to have to do it on 5 hearts because it's pretty easy to take one extra heart of damage. So ideally you want to come in with 6. Once you have 6, 7 doesn't matter, honestly, because it's you're not going to take an extra hit from the goo. What you are going to take is a hit from the eyeball, and then you're just dead.
Yeah, Viddy is very often just instant death when you mess up, and not something that you wish you had one extra heart for.
Yeah, except in the 5 to 6 case. That's the only time it actually matters. And even then, it generally doesn't, but it's just, you'd like to have it. Give you a little extra breathing room.
Argus, Viddy has been, for a lot of this tournament, the big bully. I think it was Rob who called him the Ganon's Employee of the Month for the month of April. But Viddy has not been a problem lately. We are hoping to not see any Viddy issues here. But,
yeah, again, I think part of it's just once you get to this level of player, Viddy's pretty consistent. Viddy's never the boss I'm worried about. Cold Stairs, you got the icicles dropping in weird places that can kind of screw you up, but as long as you play Viddy correctly, you'll be fine. Viddy is 100% consistent if you do it correct.
Doom...
easier said than done sometimes.
Doom got all the spins to kill all of the eyeballs, and of course that is impossible to time your arrows when all of the eyeballs die instantly, so misses the first arrow, because I don't think I've ever seen anybody ever in the history of this game land the arrows.
I just start shooting arrows.
I don't think it's just not possible. You actually don't have the calibration in your brain to figure out how long you have to wait. Doom was even trying to do slash buffers to figure it out.
We should just do slash buffers. Just pretend the eyes are still there, or shoot 2 arrows just for no reason,
But we're through Viddy with no issues, continuing that streak of no Viddy deaths.
Yeah, so like I was saying, Turtle Rock, Mire straightforward. Turtle Rock's really going to set up what this end game is going to look like for this race. Doom going into a couple seconds ahead here, so he's got the nice little lead. But just one dead rock blocking you is going to flip the lead here, and that's only the beginning of the terrible things that Turtle Rock can do to you.
Yeah,
we do have to take the small break for Ice Rod here.
We are 8 seconds apart, it looks like. So Doom having a nicer Meyer there, clawed back a little bit of the time. Basically doubled his lead. Oh man, gets the green card under the bush.
That's why you do it in the split, though.
Yikes. Doom is just stacking up some pretty bad minor RNG all over the place. I'm getting frustrated on his behalf, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically Fricker was able to claw back mostly from the Argus and just, having that gold swamp. And then the little, at that point, the little stuff actually did make a big enough difference for Fricker to catch up here. And then he gave a little bit of time back with that Meyer too, which was really the only difference I saw in Meyer.
Oh,
and here's what I'm talking about.
And yeah,
do you want to talk about employees of the month? Like, and Fricker going for the Waffle House?
You got it, nicely done. Even got the redirect there on the last part to go around that dead rock, very nicely read.
Fricker's looking for group.
Gonna go out on a limb and say that is. You know what? Forget it. That is what he meant.
Oh no, I know what it means.
Oh man, so we are. Oh god, more dead rocks. Please get me in the dungeon.
Yeah, because the dungeon's nice and safe and cozy. There's nothing that could possibly go wrong.
We get a cutscene to take a breath. That's all. Oh man, Fricker almost stepped off the ledge there. No quick warps on this stream today, however. So we're back to a 3-ish second difference, which is where we were out of Swamp. So hold on to your butts. Both players are due the fairy with the next drop. They both got the heart in pod. So
wow, that's some A+ paying attention there, boy.
I gotta pick my spots. Doom needs it a little bit more. He's down, actually. Is he down too many hearts to get beams?
No, he's exactly fine, right? No, because he pulls off. Yeah, so you take 4, because you're going to pull off here from 4. So yeah, he won't be able to get beams.
He's not going to have beams.
Not that big of a deal, but I mean, it's so close that maybe. Also, like, even if you get beams back, there's a good chance you lose them anyways. If you're
yeah.
So like Turtle Rock is just the dungeon of 3-second time losses. Like, every room you could easily lose 3 seconds without even missing a beat, honestly.
If Fricker is able to hold beams and Doom cannot get back up to beams, that is just another couple seconds there, though, that can, at this point, we're in the range where that could swing things.
I mean, we're in the range where warp, like, if just this gap held, which is unlikely, something's going to happen, but we're in the range where warps matters.
All right, not the worst chomps, but you don't like to see that guy stop in front of the chest.
Yeah, no, it's not where I would ask him to stop.
Still, that room can go worse, so I mean, it's not an RNG you're really going to complain too hard about.
Again, if in this dungeon, that statement, that room could have gone worse. It's pretty much true of every room.
Yeah. Gonna be interesting to see what kind of pokies these guys get and how aggressive they want to play if they get bottom left pokies.
Yeah, bottom left is the fastest, but it's also the hardest to do correctly. Doom gets bottom right. Sometimes you get bottom right. I think in tournaments, like, honestly, you get bottom right and you're just like, oh, thank God.
Yeah,
nice and straightforward to deal with.
I've had the same thought, I think. Both runners get the same RNG. Both runners kind of miss their drops and have to spend an extra second in the room to pick up their drops. But we're both pretty comfy, almost full hearts for Doom. Not going to have beams, but not one hit away from death either. I hate this strat from Fricker, but very nicely done.
It dashes the top. That's ugh.
It just always looks like he's forgotten something when I see somebody do that. Like, no, you missed. You gotta hit the switch.
Doom gets one of the worst RNGs here. Fricker's isn't great either. I think this actually ends up being identical time because Fricker had to wait. Yeah, so it ends up pretty much being. I think Fricker's a little bit faster.
I think slightly faster for Fricker. Yeah.
Yeah, the roll was further to right for Doom. Let's see if now Fricker should have a free squeeze here. Should make up a little time in this room. Doom can go for the squeeze.
Very nicely done, Doom.
Yeah, you can see Fricker just making up a little bit of time there with the beams, a little bit of a faster strat. It's not that much faster than the squeeze though, so. But yeah, this is as neck as you could possibly get, especially from a race where Doom has, at this point, has led wire to wire. Doom had a small lead in. No, that's right. Fricker had the lead because of Snake Heart.
Are you saying that we're neck and neck headed into dry necks?
Yes, we are. Oh god.
Okay, I was double checking that.
Oh Christ.
You're gonna leave it hanging out there. I needed to clean it up. Fricker going fast laser skip gets it, saving a little bit more time. He's clawed this back to like 2 seconds, maybe less than 2 seconds.
Yeah,
oh no, Doom getting bullied.
And Fricker
We're tied. That guy's like the worst mini Helmasaur. That's stupid. Oh, but then Fricker getting a little bullied back. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, we're at the point where like anything that happens is going to change this lead for both.
I'd be really curious if these guys are watching each other or checking in or anything like that, because I don't know what that would do to my nerves looking over and seeing like somebody in the same room as me. Like, talk about more nerves.
When I'm watching, I tend to just peek at updates like during cutscenes, that type of thing. I'm not like looking after every room or anything, 'cause that would drive me nuts.
I know some people like to listen to the race restream while they race, so sometimes they know exactly what's going on, but I don't have the mental capacity for that myself.
No, I gotta listen to my Miley Cyrus when I'm running, please.
Oof. Okay, Fricker is not dead. That's good.
Yeah, you can get, as I've learned the hard way, you can get double hit by Trinex in that situation, so that would have killed Fricker, so good job kind of pulling it out there. Okay, well, I'm just gonna call this effectively tied heading into GT. But as you said before, Doom's GTs and everything are pretty good. I mean, Fricker did the 100 GT challenge, so it's not like he's like some sort of like.
Oh no, you don't get to this level by being actually bad at any splits. Doomtap's GTs, I've watched a lot of Doom streams. Doomtap's GTs are super consistent. I don't think he would break out the hover in a race like this, but even without the hover, he's fully capable of getting a sub 7 GT on any GT attempt. And Fricker is as well, obviously, but just you're going to give the edge to Doomtap in these late game splits. But hey, it's also hard to kind of turn it on if you haven't had your A game in your run up until GT. Sometimes it's just you can't turn it on. So
yeah, I mean the other I think GT is a little bit underrated as an RNG split, but those gauntlet rooms, again, it's close enough that someone gets some pretty gross, especially like Gauntlet 2 RNG, that's gonna flip the lead right there.
So much knowledge. You need so much knowledge in those rooms. You need to know what to look at, and you need to know, okay, if this guy goes this way and that guy goes that way, here's what I do to be consistent. And there's so much knowledge that you need.
Yeah, it's one of those rooms. I think it's one of those rooms that you're not gonna get really great at until really you're pushing that 123, because you're just kind of like, well, I know how to deal with it if I get good or even decent RNG, and if it goes terribly, then it's just you just kind of treat it like blue balls almost. So it's something like the really high level players, they're just consistent through all the different types of RNGs in those rooms. I will never understand slash up. I have tried it so many times. I do not understand people who can do it.
Can't believe there are people who actually like Gauntlet 2. This is news to me.
I like Gauntlet 2 when it gives you the perfect RNG where you just dash them and then kill them and you leave. Then it's a great room.
Imagine
that, it's trash.
Imagine ever slashing in Gauntlet 2. Forget about slashing up. Jeez.
Yeah, that's true. I guess in my perfect world, there was no slashes that happened in that room.
All right, so the lead appears to be 4 seconds or so right now, maybe a little less. Good thing we're basically up to the free part of GT.
Certainly less than 1 Ganonfall, I'll say that.
if that's how we're measuring things.
It's the standard metric of measurement.
We're going into Ice Armos here. I don't anticipate either player having issues with Ice Armos.
God, why are you saying this shit?
being confident. Look at that. Look at the confidence that Fricker has going for the chest there, getting the open, not taking any damage. He's at 30 arrows.
That strat seems to be getting a little bit more popular in this tournament, going and getting those arrows early.
Imagine purposely doing like actual hard strats in Ganon's Tower. It couldn't be me.
Okay, Doom was facing the wrong way, trying to pick up this chest. Yeah, and you can see, God, this is so close. All right, well, both entering top of Ganon's Tower here. Your full hearts have enough arrows and everything, so we'll see. Gauntlet's really the big RNG fest that we have. Moldorm 2 a little bit, but with Tempered Sword, you can generally just... he's got to give you really bad RNG for it to matter. Same with Lamo too. Ooh,
I lose so much time in Mimics, just watching like Doom's Mimics there, and even Fricker's Mimics one, like super clean. Fricker had a little bit of trouble in Mimics too.
I refuse to believe your good Mimic, the good version of your Mimics is worse than either one of those, because they both messed it up.
Well, it's still super, like, Mimics 1 especially. Like, Fricker had a bonk on the way out of the room, which obviously is not very good.
Well, and he's
just
fun.
The Mimics kill, like, are just still way faster than the strats that I go for. They're just such high-level strats.
All right, pretty good Gauntlet 1 for Doom. Same for Fricker. We'll see how this GT goes. Yeah, Doom, see, even Doom doesn't go with the upslash. Still, Fricker does do the upslash. Neither of them get great RNG. Both of them clean up very well.
Dealt with
Fricker,
pretty good.
Doom gets the kind of bad RNG there. Has to, pick up the pot. One for Fire Rod Strat. Very nice.
They're getting about equal RNGs here, which is pretty good.
Yes, equal, but I think Fricker clawed like frames
very little bit.
Yeah, it's so close.
Now we have to hope for friendly Landmo here for both of them.
Basically, it's the same gap.
Fricker getting the save. One nice save for Fricker. Went full left for that first worm. That is not easy. If you don't spin as early as possible, you can't save that one that Fricker got. Really nice.
Fricker was behind a menu. I like how the good race when like differences in menus confuse you about how close.
Yeah, you get confused. Wait, how did it catch up? Oh, that's right. He hasn't menued. There we go. Now it looks right.
Yeah, honestly, this entire climb they've stayed neck and neck. Honestly, like Fricker got hit in Game Ball Z, and maybe his Mimics was just a little bit slower, but then his Gauntlet was just a little bit faster, and it's kind of right back to where it was when it started. Oh no, he misses the torch. That's like. It's such a minor. He's fine on magic, but like this is so close. Like that's a huge mistake at this point.
Yeah, it is a pretty large mistake. He has to be a little. I don't think it's gonna matter with the jingle here. He's gonna be too slow to go up the stairs. I think. Yeah, there's the jingle, so he's fine. Sometimes you mess it up a little bit and you actually put yourself right in the danger zone, but it was actually so slow that it wasn't dangerous.
The jingles, it's one of those things where it's like one frame out of like all of those. It's just like, I don't even worry about it. If it happens, like, it's happened so infrequently to me that I just don't worry about it.
Oh, Doom getting stuck here, Doom? Oh, no.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those rooms that can cost you some time. Doom's still maintaining a lead coming out of this room.
It's a good first hit on Moldorm. Gets the... Okay, we're safe. Oh, Fricker getting that early. Yikes. All right.
Yeah.
So after all that, we're still at about 5 seconds here. It's going to come down to Aga 2 and
it's an Aga. They're an Aga cycle apart.
Oh, don't let it come down to Aga 2, please. This is the worst boss in the game.
Yeah.
Just give them nice, easy 3 cycles for both of them, please. This boss is just impossible. Like...
That's an interesting place to stand for. Oh, he's taking a damage boost to do it.
Doom is a huge proponent of taking the damage boosts. His Aga 2 is actually really good. He still needs 2 hits here, I think. And there you can see the power of the D-boosts. Super nice for him. Super nice for Fricker. Here we go.
Both end up being... I think 1 extra warp. I think Doom will still be just... like an inch ahead, but
Fricker cannot submit this to the leaderboards. You hate to see it.
Doesn't it actually speed up the cutscene?
No, you have to go off the screen to actually speed it up. 4 hearts for Doom is a little tiny bit scary, even though you've done this fight a million times. It's a little tiny bit scary.
Yeah, I never want to be in here with 4. I always want to be able to take 1 hit. The downside of, but I mean, if you're gonna, you kind of have to know you're gonna be in that situation if you're gonna go for those deboosts. So,
yep.
Okay,
Just like kind of make a mental note at the start of the fight, like, hey, be extra careful. Really, right here is where you want to kind of be extra careful. And he gets a good RNG, no warp, is able to not take the fire bat hit.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of finishing every cycle inside the circle. I feel like dodging the bats inside the circle is actually way easier because they go across each other and they end up spacing themselves out instead of all like laser beaming at you.
Yeah, honestly, the most dangerous one is like when you're getting the last hit on him and it sometimes knocks you into a fire bat or something like that.
I haven't.
Oh god,
extra warps from Doom.
Doom's getting a lot of warps here, and Fricker's gonna take a slight lead into phase 4.
Oh no, but Fricker's. Oh, what the hell is this? What is this?
What?
Jesus.
How did Fricker not get hit there?
Okay, Fricker is officially in the lead. If he doesn't make any mistakes here, this is Fricker's to lose at this point.
Yeah, Doom got the blue Ganon. I think that definitely Fricker's got to at least be a warp and a half ahead.
Yeah, I started this by saying we didn't even have a race determined by balls in AD, and now we have a race determined by warps. Okay, we are never allowed to make fun of Fricker again for missing Torch Glitch, because the fact that he got that one of all...
I don't understand what I saw. Fricker is gonna take this race, I think, by mere seconds.
Yeah. It's gonna be a 2-second gap to finish this out. Holy shit.
Oh my, Fricker takes it by 2 seconds. 125.27 and Doom with the 125.29. Do you know what that means, Apathy? That means Fricker won because he skipped Sankart.
Oh no, you're right. All that stuff, really, it's just 2 seconds, doesn't matter.
Ah.
Yeah,
wow.
That is correct. So, Sankart officially trash strat. Was Doom ever at 1 heart? I don't think he was.
I'm not sure. Fricker was at certain points.
Yeah,
sure,
but he didn't. I mean, that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Wow, what a race!
Unless he wanted to like delete a heart on top of it, just swag it out. Like,
well, that was I think everything that anybody could have asked for, and then some on top of that.
Yeah, I mean,
incredible.
Fricker did he did bonk in Skullwood, so that ate into his quote unquote because he probably doesn't bonk there if he has Sank Heart, right? He plays it for 3 hearts.
Yeah, probably.
So like,
obviously, it's not like we can just say, well, he saved 3 seconds back there. That was the difference in the race.
Yeah,
Clearly,
you can never do that.
It's just it is kind of funny that it ends up being like the exact difference in the race. Just more of a funny eventuality than anything that actually contributed in any significant way. But I mean, really, just an incredible race. Just super close all the way throughout. You know, Fricker having some really good splits there in the mid and late game, and just incredible. Hey, I think we're joined by Fricker. Hello.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
How's it going? GG.
How does it feel to slay your Torch Glitch demons by getting the dumbest Torch Glitch I've ever seen in my life?
I thought I was gonna miss that Torch Glitch again.
I thought you were off. Forget missing the torch. I thought like, oh, he's in the hole. So
yeah, that second spin before Torch Glitch was super jank, and I'm like, oh god, here we go.
But I think you need like it's 2 seconds. Like you needed everything. We were saying like, well, first of all, do you want to make any statements to all the Sankart getters out there? Because this came down to Sankart.
Did Doom get Sank?
Yes.
Oh baby, skip Sankart. Hashtag team, let's go.
Also joined by Doom. Yo, what's up, Doom?
Yo, GG Doom. I had absolutely no idea that run was that close. I thought I was toast.
I was watching the whole time, and you were catching up on me like a runaway train or something. Every time I looked, you were 8 seconds closer.
Well, like after 7 blue balls, I'm like, all right, GG, this is it. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just focus up and just do the best that I can the rest of the run. And boy, did I have a bad Thieves Town and Skull, but I focused as much as I could for 7 blue balls and did the best I could. So
Didn't see what happened to Thieves or Skull, other than something happened. I saw you were on 3 hearts and 2 hearts, but I couldn't watch it.
yeah, I got knocked in the prison to rescue the maiden. I got knocked there a few times.
And then you forgot where the heart was.
Yeah, I don't go for those hearts. I'm like, is it left or right? Of course, 50-50. I get it wrong.
Oh, like we were shocked that you picked up that heart, but then you didn't pick up because like I always want to be on 3 hearts going into blind if I want to play it safe. Like I'm not just going for it, because you're just as likely to get hit by blind as you are to get hit by a fireball. Granted, you got hit by the fireball, so that was something there.
Yeah, I grabbed the prison heart because sometimes I get kind of screwed on the conveyor jelly where he electrifies and then I get knocked into the pit, and that would have been
That makes
GG.
sense.
But yeah, that's insane. Like I cannot believe how close that race was. That man, holy smokes!
Yeah, I mean
Batman.
the big turning point was Doom was 30 seconds ahead coming into Dark World, and then Doom was pretty much maintaining the lead up until Swamp. Like every time Doom made a mistake, you ended up also making a mistake, so it kind of like maintained this like 30 to 40 second lead, and then you golded Swamp, and then Doom had almost had a 2-cycle Argus, and it was pretty much neck and neck from that point on out.
Oh man, this is gonna be super exciting to watch back. Yo, GG again, Doom. It was honestly, it's such an honor to be this far down with the Final Four, and just going up against some of these players it's so incredible. The rest of these players are just so good. It's a fun experience. So
Ton of fun to watch. I mean, if you didn't listen to it the first time, Fricker, it'll be a lot of fun, I think, to watch back. A lot of funky stuff going on. That's this game, right? You're never going to have that perfect run, and especially in a tournament, it's going to throw a bunch of weird stuff at you. Both had your adventures, both had your large time losses, but that's sort of to be expected, even at a high level. But to be so close all the way through was just so much fun.
A lot of us saying, 2 seconds isn't going to matter, is it? A lot of us saying that.
First half of the race,
yeah,
like dozens of times. Like, yeah, he might do this. It might cost him a second. Who cares? And then, like, we started getting later in the race. And like, okay, all those things we said didn't matter. They're mattering now. So we need to start paying attention. Oh, look, he lost a second here. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it came down to, definitely came down to warps. We didn't quite see what the warps, but Doom got a couple, and then we noticed that Fricker was already getting that last stomp. And then Fricker's adventure in trying to spin him one extra time and almost missing. I honestly thought you were going to miss Torch Glitch, and it was the most Fricker way to end this, to get kicked out of this tournament. I was going to be so upset. And so I got slaying the demons a little bit there. I mean, you've gotten Torch Glitch obviously before in your life. But.
I thought you were just dead. Like when you started to spin, I'm like, that's too early. He's going to be dead before the torch even goes out. And the spin hit, and you were still alive, and you composed yourself to get Torch Glitch.
You were like inside of him. I'm like, what's happening? Like,
that's
not where you stand.
Let's be real here. When you miss Torch Glitch as much as I have, it just becomes nothing anymore. So I'm kind of used to it and know how to react at this point. So
I refuse to believe you're used to that situation that you just did.
Oh, I'm used to that situation. I promise you.
Oh yeah, that's your strat, to fall halfway off the hole, claw up at the last second, and barely get the Torch Glitch. That's your plan.
Well, okay. Well, it wasn't the plan, but like I said, that second spin was a little janky. Maybe I was a little early on the release, or whatever the case was. But I think at that point it came down to nerves. And when I saw he was warping far left to go for that second hit, I think in my brain I was like, "Oh crap, I'm so out of position right now." But I'm like, I gotta go for it. Like, Doom hasn't finished yet, and like throughout the entire run, like especially like on Mothula 2, where I got smoked and had to bonk over the hole, and I'm like, should I go for the heart and Mummy Key Room? No, like I gotta keep the pressure on, even though I had no idea where Doom was. I just had to go for it.
Yeah, it ends up mattering. I mean, like, do you normally do that second? Because when he's far left, I try to go underneath him. That's when I saw you going up top. I'm like, where are you going? Like, what is this plan here?
Yeah, for that, if he warps far left for the second hit before Torch Glitch, I always go above and then bait the bat in the top left of where Ganon's ear is, and then I move down to touch the torch, and the bat baits over me, and then I hold right from the spin to stay on the platform, and all I have to do is just hit down, and I'm right at the torch. So
Okay. See, I was just kind of unused to that strat. Blaine, what do you go above him or do you go below him on that one?
I've seen both. It doesn't. I don't think it really makes a difference. I just normally will see more of a delay before the spin. So when Fricker released the second spin, I was like, "That's it. It's too early. He's going to die, or he's going to get hit by the fire bat and not spin." And then, of course, everybody knows you get hit by the fire bat and you miss torch glitch, right? That's just what happens. But hey, I mean, it worked out. Like it wasn't too early, and you composed yourself. It's hard to do everything precisely in this game, right? We saw it for both you guys the whole time. Like I don't think either of you had what you'd qualify as great runs here, but
Well, Doom does finish the credits first, so.
But it was just a lot of fun. And, we're not running this tournament to see who's better than who at Link to the Past, right? We already know the answers.
That's what the leaderboards are. Yeah.
We're just trying to have some fun and celebrate the game and bring everybody together. And what better way to do that than a race like this that's super insanely close between two really good players. Unfortunately, this does mean that Doom, you were eliminated, 4th place. No shame in that, obviously. Hope you enjoyed your tournament. Fricker, you're going to be moving on to face, just Airy.
Oh, God, here we go.
Well, GG, Fricker. It was nice having you.
GG, dude.
Thanks for joining the tournament.
I just hope you guys are having a lot of fun. Looking forward to you versus Airy coming up, Fricker.
Yeah, regardless of what happens, like this is a dream to even make it this far. So, thank you to all the runners and GG again, Doom. Like that was incredible. I cannot wait to watch it back. And shout outs to both Point and Apathy for doing comms and the restream.
Yeah, Doom, do you have anything you want to say? We kind of mostly talking about Fricker.
Not really. I think Fricker definitely deserved to win. He played better, and I played very poorly. I do feel like I got unlucky in some places, but I matched it with poor gameplay. So
you definitely had, except for blue balls, you definitely had the worst. We were commenting on like
I was getting offended on your behalf at some of the small RNGs that you just kept getting the bad ones like everywhere on, and I was getting annoyed for you on your behalf. Like there's another screen where Doom got the only RNG that's actually really bad, and it wasn't like you were losing 6 seconds to any of the RNGs, but like a second here, a second there. And then you look at the final time and look, all those seconds matter. So it was a uncommonly bad small RNGs for you, I feel like.
Yeah, like Argus was the only, I mean, for both of you, I think Argus is the only like major mistake that was made. That was like really like a 10+ second time loss. Fricker had some little stuff, but nothing really like that big. So, and then it was the RNG stuff.
Alrighty, if that's everything, I guess we will send this off. So, GG's to both of the runners. Thank you again to the comms for helping out. It's always appreciated. We will be sending y'all over to Zelda Speedruns 2. They are currently doing their Zelda 2 randomizer weekly race. They're about, I think by now, 30 minutes into the run, so still should be plenty to look forward to. As for the schedule, later we got a Uter League Division 1 race going on, along with 2 Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cups. So look forward to those. And we will catch you another time. And good luck to Fricker and going forward.
Thank you.
See ya.